Hi all, I'm back with a pickup video, and today the pickup video includes quite a lot of games actually and things. It ranges from a very old like the Commodore 64 to the most recent things for the Wii U. And so to start off with, I'll start with the most recent pickup, which literally came this morning on a Sunday from Amazon. And these are two amiibo figures that I pre-ordered. I've ordered another two which I'll show in a later pickup video when they come. But for now, just to show you guys, I have the Toon Link to go with my Legend of Zelda collection. I've already got Zelda and the original Link, so I'm pleased to have that. And also, I don't know if it's pronounced Shake or Chic. Okay. Now with amiibo collection, it's gone a bit mad really. It's worse than Skylanders in terms of people wanting to collect them, but more crucially to us collectors, it's the fact that a lot of resellers are pre-ordering them in large numbers, and it's making them more harder to get. I mean, the rare figures are already you was unable to order them a long time ago on Amazon. I was able to order them about 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks, but I was lucky to get my order in when I did. Some of the more common figures from Amiibo range Wave 3, like bells and stuff, you can still get, but it's difficult. And my tip for you guys is, if you want to get some Amiibos and you haven't had a chance to pre-order them with Amazon, is to check out Argos. Now, Argos seems to have quite a lot in stock, not only in the more main stores, but in the smaller stores as well. And I found that if you actually go into one of the stores themselves and search for your figure and do like a search another store search, it'll bring up about, it will look at 13 other or so local stores. Now, I found quite a lot of rare amiibos that way, like the Marth figures, the Villager figures, and the Wii Fitness Instructor figures. Not too far away actually, once I've done that search, so it's like in one of the Dagenham stores and so forth. I live in Grace Folk, so most stores to me would be Lakeside, but Lakeside ones sold out quite quickly on the rarer figures, but I was able to get them elsewhere. Now if you do, if you search on the Argos website and search other stores, it's not very good. It doesn't give you what's available in certain stores. You have to be more specific with postcodes and so forth. And so another thing you can do online is to search by postcodes and areas around you as well, if you know the postcodes. But I find if you go into a store, your local store, and do a search other stores, it will bring them up anyway. So that's my tip, is to look at Argos. Also, my other tip is also Tesco's. Tesco's Direct often sell out quite quickly, fair enough, but if you actually go into some of the stores, I was surprised to find that the Lakeside store, for example, did have a small display with some Amiibo figures in, and I don't think people realised it was there. And I saw about 4 Marths there before Christmas, and only last week I saw a Wii Fitness Instructor. So I don't think people think Tesco stock them, because they don't do that many Wii U games or anything. They don't sell the systems or anything, but they do have a few of the Amiibo figures. So if you get desperate, check out your local Tesco's if it's a decent sized store. Okay, so that's enough of Amiibos. Other things I've collected or picked up recently. I'll go for this one. This is one of the oldest games I picked up today. Well, not today. It's actually, was it yesterday? No, it was Friday. And basically, what it is, I mentioned it before. There's a PC shop near me in Grays, and they sell a few old games and stuff, and the young guy who runs it, I don't know if it's his uncle or whatever, he owns the shop. He also owns another shop nearby. And he said he had a suitcase full of PS1 games and a lot of PS2 and Xbox original games and so forth. And he said, well, one day you had to pop over to the other shop and we have a look and see what they got. Unfortunately, I did that on Friday, but it's in a total mess, it is. They got like stock rooms full of crap, electrical bits, old games and all sorts, all piled up, not neatly or anything. It's like you got to tread over things to find things. It was like it was totally disorganised, and the back room was like that, and there's 2 rooms upstairs flat as well. There was like that, which I went in with him, and they had a couple of rare PS1 games there, which I was able to see, but unfortunately they were missing the missing the front cover and the manuals and so forth, so I didn't bother picking those up. It looks like Medieval and Area 51, which are two games which I wanted. Not hugely valuable, but games that were on my list. But anyway, while I was in there, I did come across two games that he had. One I haven't got to show today. It's a double which I've already got. That's a boxed and complete Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, which was in very good condition. So I'll be trading that to anyone who's interested, and or list it on eBay. Already got one, but this I thought I'd pick it up while I saw it, because he only wanted like £2.50 for it, so I can easily sell that for £15–20 maybe. Well, anyway, the other game that he had there, which I was glad to pick up, and it's all complete and in good condition, was for Commodore 64, and that is the original Alien. And on the back they actually have photos of original cast. So this is before a lot of them are famous. I mean, Ian Holm was famous then, but a lot of the other actors weren't so. And I guess I didn't have to pay so much in royalties or whatever for likeness and so forth, which is why you don't get to see too many photos of like Sigourney Weaver in modern games and so forth, because they have to pay a fortune in likeness. But in this case they did, and it's got the manual, it's got a tape cassette that looks like it's never been played. And you know, this and Super Mario Land, he only wanted a 5, so I thought, yeah, I definitely have those. So I've got this on a Sinclair 47 tape, but to have it on Commodore 64, I don't own a Commodore 64, and I wouldn't bother getting one because they're so... you have to really know what you're doing to get them running because they're so old. But to have one for a collection, because I'm an Alien fan, that's a must. So for £2.50, I think that's great. I also picked up some box sets, nothing amazing, but they were cheap. And one was for PS3, and this is like a torture game. No, not a torture game. It's a fitness game. It's a Ultimate Fighting Championship trainer game on the PS3. The box is a little bit tatty, but it's all brand new and complete inside. The game's unopened. The knee pad it comes with, or leg strap included, is completely unopened. And that was only about £3 from Game. And obviously whoever bought it in and traded it in never used it. But for £3 I'm happy to have that for a collection. I quite like weird games that have like accessories and so forth in, especially if it's for the PlayStation systems, which I love. Another PlayStation accessory type one, which I picked up yesterday from one of the charity shops, which was only £1.50, is a PlayStation 2 accessory. It's an iToy with a Play Sports. Now, this box is very tatty and so forth. It's not missing any parts, but it is a bit tatty. But the game's all complete, and it comes with a silver iToy, which is all complete as well. You know, with no marks, and it seems to be working fine. It seems to look like it will probably work fine. And I've got a box iToy. I think the original game with a black iToy. But to have the silver one is nice to have for a collection, especially when it's only £1.50. You know, I think that's good. Another box set which seems to have a theme of fitness, which, looking at me, you think, well, what's he got that for? Well, I definitely need it, I suppose. But this one it goes for a lot of money. I think when it was originally released, I think they were selling for over £65. And I saw two of these. Maybe I should have picked the second one up as well. But I picked one up anyway from my local Sainsbury's, and it's a PS3 EA Active 2. Now, EA Active 1, which was a game for the original Wii, and for a sequel they brought it out on the Wii and the PS2, and I think you can probably get it on the Xbox 360 as well. But what's good about this, it comes with all the accessories you need, and you don't need to use a PlayStation Move camera or anything. It just picks it up from its own dongle, what you're doing. And looked at some of the videos on YouTube, and it was quite a good sports interactive training stroke game type thing. So for £1.50 to have it all new and so forth for a collection, I thought that's pretty good. Not that I'll ever use it, probably. Okay, let's look at small games now. On the DS I picked up yesterday go with my Capcom collection, Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. I hope to get all the Ace Attorney games, but they are quite pricey. So I picked this up, I treated myself to that. It wasn't cheap, it was about 18 quid, but I think that's just under the going rate for these games because they're so popular they are. On the 3DS, I wanted to get this shooter. It's got good reviews and so forth. It's like a Vector type game with Vector graphics, and it's a simple but quite addictive shooting game called Dream Trigger 3D. It's not rare. You can usually pick up for about £6 or more in game, but I actually saw this in CEX for £2, all boxed and complete, and thought for £2 I want that, so I have that, and I did. Moving on to a PSP, I bought a couple of games. One was £2, which is cheap because it goes for a lot more, and that's Marvel Ultimate Alliance, boxed and complete. I think all my games are boxed and complete today, so I won't bother saying that again. And also Disney Ratatouille. I had to pick up nearly all the Disney games, so they look interesting. And I think this was quite a good game anyway. I got it on PS2, so I'm happy to have it on the PSP. I have one Xbox 360 game. It's an American football game which you don't see too often, and you know, I haven't got that many. I don't think this may be the only American football game I've got on the Xbox, so glad to have that. Blitz the League. I think that was about £2.50. Cash converters or something like that. And going back to slightly older games, I've got a couple of PS1 games. I actually bought about 8 PS1 games, but a lot of them I just bought for cases because they were, you know, the cases weren't damaged or anything, and they were £1 each. So usually, if I've got some spare money, I'll buy some PS1 games like that just to stock up on cases, because I like to have all my PS1 games in cases that have no cracks or, you know, or any damage really. And it's funny that PS1 games cases, they're nice in the sense that you can easily spot PS1 games out, and not like the American games like the same cases as CD cases, and they're really difficult to spot. But in the UK they've got these funny boxes, haven't they? And even though they're easy to spot, when they break they're a bit more tricky to replace. But I was pleased to have this. It's a 2-disc game. I've already got the first one, and I've got the games on the PS2 as well. And I think I've got one on Xbox 360 on the Xbox. And that's Siphon Filter, the second one, Siphon Filter 2. And this other game I got is a puzzle type game involving, well, it looks like not Jenga. Can't remember those what it's called, those Japanese dice games they're called now. Oh, it's escaped me. Look at, oh, I know later anyway. It looks like one of those Japanese dice games, and it's called Devil Dice. Now I've heard of this before, and it looked okay. It didn't look anything spectacular, but I had a feeling that this could be a rare game, and I bought it for £1. And it is a quite rare game. It goes for about £12 or something like that on Amazon, so I was quite pleased to have that. I don't know if it's any good or not, but I assume it is for the price that it demands. Okay, moving on to the PS3 games I've got. To go with my King of Fighter collection, King of Fighter 12. That was £5, and I had about £2.50 worth of points in games, so that was only about £2.50 in the end. Surprised it was that cheap really for King of Fighter games, because games are so expensive. Game is one of those shops I absolutely despise. I would hope, you know, if they were out of business, I wouldn't care in the slightest. I do shop in game for a reason that sometimes they have exclusives, and sometimes I catch them slipping and they have games undervalued. But most of the time, the game is just massively overvalued. It really does. I mean, they had a pile of old games that they were just getting rid of, and they're like PS2 games in there. And I asked the guy, oh, how much are some of these PS2 games? And he says, well, whatever's on the label. And they had these old labels going back years saying $4.99. I think, $4.99 for a PS2 game? You must be joking. And I said, no wonder they got a bit of part of these old games just sitting there, because no one's going to pay those prices for old games that aren't rare. So, but even with newer games and PS3 games, the prices are so sticky. They don't go down a lot most of the time, and and I find that if you hunt around you can get some bargains, and this is what I did on Facebook. I found this person saying some PS3 games. There was one I didn't have which I wanted, was GTA 5. It's got a manual. Unfortunately it hasn't got a map, but it was £3, and I ordered a map off eBay for £4.50, and so in total that game cost me £7.50, which is quite good for GTA 5. Shame we didn't have a map, because that would have been a real bargain for £3. But there you go, it's just one of those things really. Another game which I actually saw in game, and I say I hate that store, but sometimes they do undervalue some of the stuff they've got. Not often, but on occasion. And sometimes they sell limited edition versions of games at the same price that they sell normal games. And this particular game goes for quite a lot of money. I think it's in demand. I think it goes for about £40 or something like that, not often. But I bought it for £15. It's all boxed and complete, in very good condition. The DLC hadn't been used, and so I've used that now. And that is it's a HD remaster version of Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. Now this is one of the Final Fantasy games that has very good reviews. I haven't played it. I have it on PS2. I do have it on PS2, but I will play them on the PS3 when I get round to it. But that's I'm happy to pick that up. I think that's about £15. But like I said, that's a good deal on that, on the limited edition version. Okay, another game which I bought in the sale at Cash Convert, so it's for £2.99, and it's not a great game, but it's by Konami, and that is Hellboy. What's it called? The Science of Evil. I like the Hellboy movies. I haven't read the comic books, but I like the movies, so I thought, why not? These next two games, technically it's the same game, but it's different versions of the same game. And I wanted to get these. I've got the limited edition box sets and Songbirds edition. That's a big clue to what it is. But I wanted to pick up a sealed condition of it on the PS3, which I did. Bioshock Infinite, all sealed. That was Sainsbury's, $6.99. I thought that's okay for a brand new sealed edition. In game they sell second-hand open editions for about $7.99, so to get a new one for $6.99 is good. And there's also this other game has been released in the past 6 months, I think. Not a huge amount of numbers actually. I think Game is one of the few places you can get it. Maybe Amazon as well, but they're sold out of all their stock. And this game that the price is creeping up a lot, and it's like the complete edition of Bioshock Infinite that has all the DLC packs all installed on a disc. So this is the ultimate version of Bioshock Infinite to own, and this had been about $18.99 reduced to £14 in game, and they still had some when I bought one last week, which was great because I was looking for it. But a lot of places the prices have already gone up. Some people want, you know, about £25, £35, £45 for this game, believe it or not. So I thought, bloody, I better pick one up when I see it. And so if you ever do see a complete edition of Bioshock Infinite and it's not too much money, do pick it up. Even if you don't like the game, you know, it's good to pick up cheap and resell. I do have one PS4 game. This is all new and sealed, and I think I've got this for $9.99. It's from Tesco's. It's got mixed reviews. I think it's, I would say by the looks of it, if you like platformer games like Ratchet and Clank and that sort of thing, you'll probably like this. And it's called Knack. So it's a launch title for a PS4. No, certainly not rare or anything, but to get a sealed copy for $9.99, I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to keep it sealed. At some point I will play it, but to have Knack for that sort of money, I thought that's not bad. Okay, I do have quite a few PS2 games which I picked up, most of which I bought yesterday in CEX. I bought a few for £1 in some of the second-hand shops in Basildon, but most of these I bought from CEX, and they weren't too expensive, most of them. Some were about 50p, some were £1.50, some were £2. The games I didn't have in the collection, obviously, and they're games that are less common, most of them are. But there's no super rarities or anything, but it's nice to have them for a collection. This one is called Atlantis New World 3. Now, this game I think that was, the first one came out on the PS1. I don't know what happened to PS2, the second one, sorry, if it was a PC game only or what. Hasn't got very good reviews by any means. It's supposed to have good graphics, but the playing style and the graphics, I mean not graphics, the story are quite poor. But the chances are I never get to play this anyway. But to have it in the collection, all complete again, I think that was about £2, so I was happy to have that. It's the first time I ever saw it, to be honest, really, so I never heard of it before. These other two games, I've been to and fro whether or not to get them. I've seen them quite a few times, and they're £1 each, so I thought, what the hell, I'll get them, and I will pick up the others games in this series. I think there was 2 games on the PS1 that came out, and there's a third on the PS2. And these are Legacy of Kain games. So I've got Blood Omen 2. Blood Omen, the Legacy of Kain is the first one that came out on PS1, and that's a game that's quite rare. It goes for about £15–20. There's a more common one called Soul Reaver, the Legacy of Kain. I think that's quite cheap on PS1. That's the, you know, you can probably pick it up for £1 if you see it in a charity shop. But the sequel to that Soul Reaver is obviously Soul Reaver 2. And again, that was £1 for boxed and complete, and I thought I have those. They got quite good reviews for gameplay. I think they're sort of a bit like a modern stroke Castlevania type game, I suppose, or more like Devil May Cry, I think, to be honest. But you know, they were cheap, so why not? Alright, this other game is a cheap game. It's only 50p. But I think it's one of those hidden gem puzzle games. I don't know if I've seen it. I don't know if Metal Jesus did a review on this one or not. But it's published by 505 Game Street, and 505 is a publisher that takes a lot of imported games from Japan and so forth and bring them out to the UK. Some of them are crap, some of them are quite hidden gems really, and I think this is one of them. It's Dodgeball, and this game is a bit of a it's a sporty type game. Involves tactics, I think, as well, really. And you play as different historical characters throughout time, so it's unusual. But for 50p, I thought, yeah, have that. The graphics look cute, and I think it's going to be one of those hidden gems games that, at some point, maybe worth a lot more than it actually is now. This other game is a sports title. It's a basketball title. Anything more? What's so special about that? Nothing really. But it's NBA 2K8. Now, it's not the most common game you see in the shops, and it wasn't a lot of money. I think it's about £1.50. But the reason why I got this is that any game that has 2008 in the title, I pick up. And I do that for one reason only, and that is because my daughter was born in 2008. And so I like to collect any games published in that year that has 2008 in their title, just for that reason. So there's sentimental reasons more than anything else. And often most of them are sports titles, which you can pick up very cheaply. And I get them on PS2 and PS3. I do PSP as well. And the idea is that at some point when my daughter gets even older and she starts getting into games, I can say to her, look at these games here I've picked up for you. They're all released in the year you was born. Now, some of you who may be more cynical will say, well, a lot of 2008 games are released a year before, so technically it was 2007. Well, that's true, I know, but my daughter could have been born in 2007. She was born on the 1st of January, so she was due a few days before when we went, and my wife went into labour on New Year's Eve, so she's half 2007, half 2008, I guess you could say. So anyway, I'm pleased to pick up the games for that she was born in. And I think if you've got any daughters and so forth, or children, and you're thinking, well, that's not a bad idea actually, I might pick up some games for the year they were born in. Why not? Especially if you hope that they will take over your hobby at some point. Now, I was born in 1972, so there weren't that many games made when I was born, except for the Magnavox Odyssey, and so I do have a first game for that, the table tennis game, which I have shown in a previous video. But I think it's just cool to pick up a video game that was made or sold when you was born. Really, I just think it's cool. Well, anyway, I digress a bit. Next game is a quite a good dirt track motorbike game called by Ubisoft, and it's Nitro Bike. And basically, you race motorbikes, track bikes, which have nitro built in. Sounds suicidal, doesn't it? But it looks like fun, and it has good reviews, and that was only a couple of quid, so why not? This other game is one that it's not, it isn't worth a lot, but it's not one I see that often, and it's one which I wanted to have to go with my Onimusha collection. That's Onimusha Blade Warriors. Now I think this one is a bit more of a beat 'em up type of style as opposed to a normal Onimusha games. But it's Capcom as well, and I'm a sucker for Capcom. If it was Capcom that made the game, I have to have it. Even though they're not always good. Okay, this other game, it's more of a board game. But it's, you know, it was cheap, it's £1, and Risk are good board games, I suppose. Global Domination, probably never to play it, but you know. Another game to go in their massive collection, which I've got no room for really. This other game, you may think, why on earth did you get this? And one reason alone, and that's because I'm a SpongeBob SquarePants fan, and this is SpongeBob SquarePants Friends Unite. And basically, if it's a SpongeBob SquarePants game on a PS2 and I haven't got it, I just pick it up. They're cheap, so why not? Okay, this other game, it's not one I've heard of that often. I think I saw it on someone else's podcast not that long ago, and it's I don't know if it was released internationally. I think maybe a European exclusive, and it's SAS Anti-Force. It's made by a company called Devil X. Devil X, not one I've ever heard of. They're probably out of business as soon as they made it. If it's any good or not, I have no idea. But it keeps its price. That was about £5, so for a PS2 game, that's not the cheapest. This game was £1. It's a nice wrestling game. Showdown Legends of WrestleMania. And my last PS2 game is to go with my other Fantastic Four games, which they aren't good by any means. And this is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Two other things to show you before I finish, and one is a free promotional thing which I got from Smith's, and it's a pack of goodies to publicise Batman 3 Beyond Gotham game, which is a multi-platform Lego game. And in this you get 1 jigsaw, 4 colour in sheets, a door hanger and holographic stickers and background scene. They had a small pile of these in Smith's, and the guy at the counter said, "Oh, help yourself," and so I took one for now, but I think with hindsight I should have taken more maybe to list on eBay or something, get some funds for more games. Now my final pickup is a game I pre-ordered before Christmas, and it took a while getting here. I think it came from Japan in the end. And it's a reproduction cart, quite a good one in the sense it's obviously a rare game. It's a game that you can get in multiple different versions. You can get in Genesis or Mega Drive version. And it's a game that's very rare. If you was to get the original one, boxed and complete, you'd probably pay well over £100 for. And I wasn't prepared to pay that for a Mega Drive game. But I wanted it to go with my collection, to go with my Castlevania collection. This game on the Genesis is called Castlevania Bloodlines, but they had to change the title because it was because of censorship, and they had to change some of the colour of the blood from red to green, I believe. And but it's a good game to have, and for the price I paid, it was £25, and this is my Mega Drive version, Castlevania: The New Generation. They've done a good job reproducing the cover. The cart is excellent. You can see it on their Retron 5 playing away. They even done a little manual with instructions and so forth. And it's like a new case. And that was £25 including postage. And I thought for a repo cart, that's pretty good. And I had choice. They could have done it in the Genesis version, doing the Castlevania Bloodlines if I wanted, with the Castlevania Bloodlines version of the game, but no, I'd rather have the Mega Drive version, being British and so forth. So yeah, Castlevania New Generation, £25. Bargain. Okay, that's all my pickups for today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do press like, and if you want to leave a comment, by all means do so, and until next time, bye.